you're not Arabic, you're not going to
Mir
repeat that.
Mirhaj.
Yeah.
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 So it's
And then what's the whitewash version
Merheje.
of that? Yeah.
What's the white? Would you say the whitewashed version?
Yeah, like how
Yeah,
do
of
Oh,
course.
Americans say your last name?
the Americans will say it Merhej or Merhaj or
Cool.
merengue. They always change it to Spanish. They always make it Spanish. I don't know why they make it Spanish. It's always into Spanish.
People think you're
I mean, yeah.
Spanish when they first
Well,
meet you.
they're like merengue, Marachi. No one. I'm like, they say Mirage a lot. Where are you guys?
Great question. We need to introduce ourselves, Said, a little bit. My name is Ali
Yes, that's
Haj.
true.
No, but like, what city
So
or what country? Where are you guys at?
I'm in downtown Los Angeles at the moment. I'm on curfew right now, so I can't be in or out, but I'm here virtually with you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm in the Silver Lake, but no curfew on my
Nice.
end.
I'm far away as
They show
possible.
up
I'm in
as you guys are. You're far away.
yeah. I'm in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
You're,
Like we're fine here. Yeah,
yeah,
we're cooking, but we're
yeah,
cooking
you're
like in
fine.
the sun. Yeah. This
Yeah. Yeah, you must be cooking. Yeah, you must be really cooking.
Is it hot
yeah.
in Saudi?
Yeah, I mean the lowest temperature is like 44, 43 degrees Celsius, obviously. Fahrenheit, I don't know,
In
like how do you
Fahrenheit.
do? I'm sorry, I follow the thing that everyone uses other than the Americans. So it
Wait,
doesn't.
what do the Americans use again? Shit, I should
Fahrenheit.
know this. Fahrenheit? Yeah,
Wait,
that's
you're
why.
Canadian, so you should know.
Yeah,
You should know the translation if anyone knows it.
Or they,
I do, but then I'm frustrated. It annoys me that there is a trans. I don't like that there's. I don't want to do extra math.
fair.
I don't
Nice.
like
Well, me
it.
and Said, we met in Lebanon. We grew up. We went to school together. Actually, a long time ago, and that's how we know each
15
other.
years,
And
bro. It's been 15
yeah,
years
we just
that I've
went
known him.
separate ways. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
15 years that you've known each other, and then you went to school in Lebanon, then you separated, and then you found each other, obviously, but you separated.
Yes, I mean he got lost in the
Yes,
maze of
that's
the
kind of the
of
journey.
the Americas, Like once you're in the US of A, خلاص, you lose the guy, especially if he's Arab.
Yeah, you're done.
It's like it's
So
gone.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I got lost, so I've been here. I've been in America since 2016. Lost in America. Just don't even know where I'm going sometimes, guys. But we're
We
here.
tried going
We're
to
here. We're here.
yeah,
You know,
Honestly.
well, yeah.
sweating. Sweating inside, outside. It doesn't even matter. Just sweat.
It is hot outside.
It's
Yeah.
so
But why would you leave Canada to come to US? I mean, Canada sounds so lovely. I've been there once and it was so nice, and
I mean, you've really tapped into an emotional thing, right? You really tapped into this to turn into a therapy session more. I mean, there's just a
Yeah, we're here for
better.
you, bro. We're here for you. No worries.
We're here for you. We're here for you.
Start crying. I grab my monitor. No, just, it's just better. I think at the time, yeah, it's just better in entertainment industry here. There's
Mm,
more opportunity. So I think a lot of Canadians who are in the entertainment make the trek over if they can. Some people go to England, but like a lot of people go to the U.S., whether it's New York or L.A. So I
mm.
was part of that. I got a green card back in 2016, and yeah,
Mabruk.
try to make my way. Yeah, try to do what I could do out here. But I do prefer. I'd be maybe obviously I'm born in Canada. I do prefer the quality of life there.
Quality of air, quality of
I don't
water,
think anyone.
quality of food, quality.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think when I go, I like the quality of life there. Anyone anymore is like, oh yeah, tell me more. The people are like, yeah. Take me with you. They say, take me with you. I was like, I
Um,
can't.
would you ever go to Lebanon and do your thing there?
I did it. We went in 2022, maybe or 21. One of those.
All right.
We went to Beirut, and we did.
Nice.
I mean, I went for the first time just to see where my family's from. So
Wow.
that was the main purpose of the trip. Like a few of us went, but then we did a show. My buddy does a show, Paul Aaliyah, low key
Mm-hmm.
comedy, and he did it at the Awkward, whatever their venue is,
Nice.
the production company.
Yeah,
So
totally.
we
We've been
did,
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
we did 2 shows there. That's the only time I've ever performed in Lebanon.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. We had to adjust, me and him, the second show. We had to adjust.
Adjust
Uh,
what?
I think we were talking like super fat. I don't like. I think that's my friend.
Is it like
My
the
friend
American style where it's that's why?
my good friend, very funny, super beloved in Lebanon. Obviously, she's from there originally. Natalie Akar. She told us in between. She was on the show, but she's like, "Hey, you
Yeah.
guys should slow down." Like in between. So we're like, "Okay, yeah." And then it was a lot better. I don't know if it was crazy good, but it was a lot better. A lot less stairs. But I
But you were
didn't
doing it.
expect much. Go ahead.
I was asking.
Sorry.
You did it all in English, right?
We did. There was some sets in Arabic, but we did it all in. We did it. Me and Paul only English, and then we very little. Paul was really wanted to speak Arabic. He really wanted to, and I think he got rejected. So he would be like, because I, me and him have been to Egypt together, and in Egypt he wanted to ask the guy at the store for milk. So he was
Mm.
like, "Buddy," and then the guy just goes, "I speak English." Like he stopped him. So we both have been yelled at by Middle Eastern men to stop trying to what we're. But yeah, it was mostly in English. I want to say from my memory, but there was Arabic performances.
Mm.
Yeah, I love
I
that
think
place.
so. I'm
Awkward.
trying to
So good.
remember. I don't know. I don't want to. Maybe I mean, it was a while ago. But yeah.
I've seen
That's fine.
we've seen shows there in English and Arabic. It's all stand up so cool, and I've seen people do both languages too. It's so incredible when people are able to flip, do stand up in
I think
English
it
and do
was.
stand up in
Yeah,
Arabic. So
I thought
cool.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
I thought just performing in the Middle East was amazing because you just hear dumb stuff. You know what I mean? You hear people who
Yeah,
are
totally.
Arabic here. They're like, you can't. There's no humor there. It's just such a. It's just so ignorant. So then being
Mhm.
able to go there and perform and being like, yeah, this is obviously there's differences, but people still want to have a good time, and
Hey,
we all had a
Yeah.
good time. So it was great that I experienced that and I can come back and tell people about it. So.
nice. Did you
Did you
get
have like?
to discover? Go side.
I just wanted to ask if you had a set of expectations when you were going to when you were going to perform. Like, did you think maybe there was a certain type of reaction that the audience would have to your jokes or to your comedy?
I think to be honest with you, if I could be really, I mean, at first I was more focused on just being there for the first time, like on a personal
Mm.
level. I think the stand up for
Mm.
me was second. I wasn't like, I mean, yeah, I was like, I've never
It's an
been to Lebanon.
excuse to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just that the trip originally started with me going to wanting to go to Lebanon for the first time. The stand up came after. It wasn't like and that was Paul organizing that. I did think, and that's like my arrogance. I just thought like the stuff that I was going to talk about, they might have received better. But then I realized I'm like, dude, I'm not even from there.
Yeah.
I've been in Canada and America and other countries talking about my family. Maybe they were like, "Oh yeah, we have that." Do you know what I mean? They were just like, "Yeah, we know our parents hit us." You know what I
Kinda.
mean? Like I don't know.
Except, yeah,
You're like,
you come from like an immigrant family versus they're actually Lebanese. You know,
yeah,
it's
and
a
whenever,
little bit of a difference.
which is a thing that I've also been super insecure about for a long time, and still am. Right? Growing
Tell
up,
us about it.
you're just kind of like around white people, like Canadians, and then so you're bouncing back and forth, right?
Hmm.
Like I never felt I was Lebanese enough, and I never felt I was like kind of Canadian enough. You get put in that like because you're born with this heritage, but then you were also born in Canada. So I think I had those conflicting emotions, or not emotions, but I had that battle for so long. So getting there, I was like, I felt like a little bit distant. I felt distant and home at the same time. If that makes any sense, not like I just was like, oh, there's such a familiarity I feel, but there's such a distance because I'm not from there. I wasn't
Yeah,
born
it's
there.
kind of like
Sorry.
a stuck in between and
Yeah,
not necessarily finding like complete assimilation within each of the communities. It's like,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
But
I,
Is
I
you,
found
you
I
go
found the
ahead?
solution to that is to find like-minded people. And if you've met all these people in America who are kind of like you, right?
Yeah, yeah, and
So
that's
there's so
actually
many
a good.
people like that.
Yeah, it's a good. And I mean, I do find that, but you just kind of, I don't know. You'll just be around Canadians. I mean, this is growing up, and then they'll be like, I mean, obviously they'll be a little bit racist sometimes, and then you're like, oh shit, I don't even know how to stick up for.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if I say something, they're just gonna kick me out of the group, maybe. Like why are they making me feel this way? And then then you go to the other side and you feel close, but then they were born there, so it's just like this conflicting. I mean, it was just mostly on my emotions, but I don't know. I think taking the trip to Lebanon also excited me, and it just gave me this different perspective on how my parents, maybe a little bit to understand them a lot more.
Mhm.
So I'm glad I did that trip. I want to go
What did
again.
What did you learn about your parents when you went to Lebanon?
I just felt that like it must have been so hard to leave your family, your place. Like this is like I never been anywhere where it was all my people. Do you get? I never
Yeah.
had. I didn't know what that meant. And then when I got there, I'm like, I felt such comfort. I'm like, oh man, I don't know if anyone's gonna make me feel weird about my culture. No one's gonna make me. No one's gonna say be racist about my culture. Like I'm around all my culture, and there's nothing. I don't know. It was such a dope feeling. So I can only imagine them leaving their lives and their families leaving their lives to come to a different country, not knowing the language, possibly, and starting over and building a life. I don't know, man. I saw some of the views there, and I'm like that. Let alone like just the beauty of it would have been like I would have been like, "Fuck, get me back." And they moved to like the winter. So
The
this is
permafrost.
shit.
It's like,
When I was a kid, my parents were trying to get me to go to Canada. They were applying for like immigration and such, so I could live in Canada. I guess that was a thing. That was a trend back in the day, where like
It was, I
tons
believe,
of
it
Arab
was.
people they wanted to go live in Canada because I guess it was easy to get immigration there. And
Were they in Lebanon?
uh, yes, exactly. So,
And they were
but
just they were like,
it ended up didn't working out. But they spent like years trying to make it work. But then yeah, it just didn't work out. And then I was born here, and so I just was able to move here for college, and I've been here ever since.
oh, so
Yeah,
you were born in America, and
yeah,
then you guys
Baltimore.
went back to Lebanon,
Yeah,
and they were trying to get you back to Canada or get you to Canada,
get me to Canada.
and then they were like, it didn't happen, and you just went to school in Lebanon.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, and that's where I met Saeed, and yeah.
So how does it feel to be born in America and then when did you move back to
I
Lebanon?
was only here for like a week. My mom came, gave birth to me. Back in the day, that was the thing you could do: just come, give birth, get the citizenship, go back. And now
Oh shit,
yeah,
that's
I
yeah,
have
sick.
an American
this was
passport.
like pre 9/11, so it's like there was no
Oh, yeah.
restrictions,
Don't tell
Come
ICE.
anyone, yalla, no problem.
They're at the
It's
airport
legal.
just waving people in into a
Exactly,
hut.
exactly.
Pregnant women.
Immigration was a good thing, it's fine, no
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, immigration's like just have the baby here. Just have it here. You don't even have to check into a hotel or a hospital, and then you go back. Well, that's sick,
Yeah.
man.
To answer your question, I feel like when I first came to the States in college, I always tried to like blend in, and I tried to like whitewash myself a bit more, and like the things about the jokes you were saying too. Like sometimes people make offensive jokes, and I'll just
Yeah,
laugh at it just to try to fit in. But over the years, I've met a lot of people who align with my, with who I am, and it's given me a lot more confidence. And now I'm actually trying to like, rediscover my own heritage, and become a lot more prouder of who I am, and more
yeah,
confident. And nowadays, if people do try to make jokes like that, I do call them out. And you know, I know that's a big thing I've noticed has changed. And jokes are jokes, and there's a difference between like banter between your friends, right? Like we can roast each other all we want, but if it's a stranger trying to make like a rude racial joke,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
where it's
no,
like
yeah.
I draw the line, you know?
Same. I think
Yeah.
yeah, I've been around, the more I've been around my culture, the more confident, the more, loving it's been. And now yeah, it is a stranger, I'll call, you call them out and stuff. But there is a huge difference with your friends bantering. And some psycho stranger just yelling shit at you about your culture.
What's it like doing stand up? I saw you at the Wiltern a few months ago with Mo when he
Oh
was
yeah,
doing
yeah,
stand
yeah,
up. That
yeah.
was so cool. Yeah, and it's yeah, my question is what's the difference between being on like a show like that where it's all, Arab Americans and similar, points of views versus when you're just on a lineup anywhere in some random place?
Well, I mean, I performed most of my life in Canada, not in front of Arabic people or
Mm-hmm.
even ethnic people. Like a
Mm-hmm.
majority of outside of certain cities in Canada, it's predominantly white. So
Mm-hmm.
I got like training. Yeah, I guess you could call it training for like a long time, years, learning how to like still talk about my culture in front of these people. And then they seem to at the end of the day, if it's like family, if the family problems that they can also relate, past the culture. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Like
Yeah,
sometimes,
totally.
there's like I now like if you're telling the audience, hey, I want to talk about my parents now and their traumas. Like every culture, in like being as an older person now. I mean, people can relate to that because they're whether they're like Polish or Lebanese or Greek. You get it's some things they'll relate to more, but performing in front of like a crowd that in front of most crowd, you just feel way more connected. Like you know what I
Mm,
mean? I don't know how to. I
yeah.
mean, I don't know how to explain it fully, but you're just up there and you just feel safe
Mm.
too, right? You're like, oh, okay, I feel like I can play with these ideas, and I feel they're gonna get it because they might have experienced something similar. So there's like this not lightness, but there's this bounce and this flow that you can get on. I don't know if I explained it well, but
A little
Is it
bit.
like a diverse audience? It's like multiracial.
oh yeah, yeah.
Of
Mo
course.
Mo Amherst crowd, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Even the people that aren't even Arabic or they've like probably watched his show. I don't know if they've done research, but they're locked in. You know how you meet those white
They
people.
get it. They
You know
get it.
those
That's yeah.
people where they're like, yeah, 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 I've done the research. You're like, okay,
They understand the humor and they also laugh a bit more. They're less
yeah.
robotic, more
It's not like
personality.
I've gone to towns where they're just like the audience doesn't know you. It's just like a predominantly white audience. They don't know who you are. And I've done
Yeah.
that multiple times for the last 10 years plus. So I already know that I know that muscle. I know how to tap into that. Do you know what I
How does it
mean?
feel when
And
you're like, is it like stressful when you're performing in front of an audience that doesn't know you? Like, is it
not as
tense?
much
Is
as it
it
used to
what's
be. Not as much
okay?
as it used to be. I mean, I've been doing it for 20 years, so it's not as it gets a little bit it's still there's still anxiety and stress, but it's not how it used to because now I'm like, oh, I've learned the tools and I've practiced a bunch. So what are you gonna do? Even if you're racist or you say wild shit, I'm gonna come back. Like I'm not scared of
Yeah.
you at all. So
So over the years, you just feel like it's like your asshole is like unclenching slowly, slowly,
my
within
asshole or
everyone.
their asshole? I think their asshole is not on. I think
I think everyone's asshole is just like
I think our assholes together are clenched and we unclench together sometimes. Like you gotta understand, these are not places you want to like. These are some of these places are like there's maybe like 1,000 people in the town. Like
okay.
everything closed at 8. This is not like a place where these people do not know. I was just in a place in Canada where I heard the audience say she thought Muslim was a country. She's not actually Muslim, so she's gone on now with her life, thinking like, or I don't know if it stopped. She's like, yeah, the Muslim country, and then people are like, what? So yeah, this is the
It's
type of people I'm dealing with.
the United States of Muslim. Yeah, yeah. It's like all of
This
those
is in
countries
Canada.
in some.
It's not even America. I don't even. I feel they should know a little bit better, but yeah, this is. So I think like that's who I'm dealing with a lot of times. But then when you go do a show, you go do a show, Mo's show, it's just completely way different and so fun. That's what it was. It was very, very fun. The energy was crazy.
You're welcome.
Like how do you adapt your humor to these people? Like, oh, Ali. Apologies, خي. والله. We're both energetic today, but بدنا نفوت نسأل نحكي. We want to go in. يلا, go Ali. Apologies.
Oh, I was gonna no. Go ahead. I was just gonna say that what were your parents' expectations growing up? Like of you, like was becoming a comedian something that your parents encouraged, or was that
Oh yeah.
something? Oh yeah, nice. So not the typical immigrant
no,
wanting
no.
to become a doctor or engineer. All right, cool.
No. I was
That's
cool. I was very, very lucky. I'm very, very lucky. Like I got, my mom just said, she was like, hey, just get me an education if you can. So I went to college in Windsor, Ontario. That's on the border of Detroit. So the Canadian side. I got that for her. She had told me when I was young, I mean, it's your mom, so it's biased, but she's like, she used to come watch me. She watches me perform even at the beginning. And she's like, oh, I feel like you're a bit of it feels like it's natural to you. So she had told me that. So she was very supportive. My dad loves being talked about.
Wow. All right.
He leaks stories on himself so that, he's like, it ends up there. So he's always been on board, and my family comes to watch me. My family actually gets angry if I don't invite them. They feel slighted. They're like, oh, you're not going to invite us? So it's like this thing where I have to put a list together every time I see them back home and to invite them. Like there has to be a list. Like if I don't tell them, like my mom takes time off work. Like they were in my special. I put them in my special that like streamed in Canada. And I did interviews they did interviews with them. They were very, very, very supportive, man. I'm very lucky. That's not the case.
That's amazing.
Know with my friends, my friends, Arabic friends who do comedy, they don't have that at all. Like, yeah.
You're in the 1% of Arab family support, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they'll heckle sometimes, not on purpose. They'll talk a lot. You have to tell them to shut the fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? Be like, hey, dude, you got to shut up. And then they think they have they're like, no, I know the guy. Like, I'm like, no, you got to shut up. It doesn't. You can't be talking.
They start taking photos of you, and you're like, no photos. They're like, no, he's my cousin.
Yeah, they don't care, dude. My cousin came in mid-show and walked all the way to the front of the stage and said, hi, cuz. And I go, Tony, what the fuck are you doing? He goes, I'm just saying hi. I go, we're in the middle of a show, Tony. And he was like, and he turned around to the crowd. He goes, oh, I'm sorry, bro. And sat back. I go, this is nuts.
Oh, man. That's like the typical Arab family, it's beautiful. They always tell you and also when you're like, if you're being uptight about it or if you're just sticking to the show, they always tell you like, bro, just go with the flow. It's fine. Be spontaneous. No problem. Like whenever I'm trying to be strict with my schedule in life or whatever, and I'm like sharing that with my mom or my sisters, they're like, just relax, take it easy, go with the flow. Like this is my mom's slogan, go with the flow. I'm like, bro, if everyone went with the flow, the whole like life would be chaos. It's like complete chaos. Nothing would work.
Yeah, it is. Go with the flow is not a good, not always the best solution.
No, it's a trademark, It's like, us, we'll brand it, we'll use it, like we'll do merchandise, go with the flow. Just fuck it. Who gives a shit?
And then when you ended up playing a doctor on Ramy, does that make you feel like, oh, I made it? I'm a doctor, Did that satisfy any part of that?
I mean, just being on the show, I was like, oh, I made it. But like, doctor was the extra. Was the extra. I was like, look at me, I'm a doctor. I'm a devout Muslim, and I'm a doctor.
The full package.
Look at me, dude. I'm killing it right now.
When we were watching you depict that character, like we laughed our asses off. It was such a good depiction because it also reminded us of someone we know who's also like literally same thing, typical. And it was just hilarious to watch.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe not
like
not with the second wife thing, but
yeah. The more devout type of
So
learning
Must
that
love
kind of
God.
energy.
devout,
He's a doctor.
anxious, yeah,
Yeah.
doctor, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I get that. I've heard that a lot where someone's like, "Yo, this is my friend," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." I mean, obviously, the anxiety is not unique to a certain person, but that
Yeah.
was partially a lot of it was my. It's not a lot of it, but some of it was my own persona, like me as a person. Um,
Mm.
the devout was not at the time, so I was just learning all these things. I had to learn how to pray. Now I know how to pray. So
Good one, brother. Let's go. Islam
yeah.
number one.
Yeah, at first I didn't know what I was doing, and then they had to Mo or Ramy be like, "We taught you this last year." I go, "I know, we got to train me again, dude." But now I can do it by myself. I do it all by myself. So
Nice, nice. And like, what was it when you were learning about it during the show? Was that like what made you actually want to do it more, or did you always think about it, or
like, you mean praying?
pray? Yeah.
No, man. I actually did not think about. I mean, I eventually converted. That's how much I did. I did not think about
Oh,
it at
wow.
all. Yeah, I did not. I was like, this is like from since 2019 till now. I did not think that I would. I didn't think I would convert. Like that wasn't in my thoughts. It just
What
happened
was
organically.
what was like the turning point, do you think, or what started that path?
I think it wasn't even. I just was going. It was 2020. I think I did Ramadan that month, but not like I wasn't going every day to Tarawih. But I think it was. I wasn't fasting. I just was going to the night prayer, and then I think it just kind of built after that. Like I wasn't fully in, and it wasn't until like maybe 3 years after 2020, maybe, or no, sorry, 2 years after that I took it like fully serious.
Oh, wow. And
Yeah.
when you did you share this, like obviously you share this with your family, and so how did they take
No,
it?
I should have. No, I. I mean, not at
Oh,
first. I told my brothers and my sister because I knew they would be a little bit more understanding, and then I by accident told my parents outside of the eye doctor.
what, at the eye doctor?
Yeah, because I went for a glaucoma test, and my mom had set it up in where I'm from, and but she's so paranoid and scared that she waited outside. Like I didn't know she was outside. So when I came out of the doctor's office, they pulled up my mom and my dad, and she wanted to know what did the doctor say. But I'm like, Mom, we have to do a test, and I can't do the test till June. So and she had these prayer beads in her hand. She had like the rosary like it is, and she's yalla, take this. Jesus would want, I go, Mom, I don't want. It's fine. I don't need that. She goes, Habibi, take it. And we just kept going back and forth until I shouted out, I'm Muslim. Not that I didn't think I could take it. I
Mm.
just was like, Mom, I'm Muslim. I didn't know and she's like, Habibi, they did still take it. Like she didn't miss a beat kind of thing. But then she was like, as long as you believe in God. And then my dad asked why. And I told him I was just a feeling. And then that's about it kind of thing. It didn't really go into super, super detail.
Nice.
So,
I really like how chill your parents are, man. It's just like they let you
well,
make
I
your
don't
own
know. Like,
decisions, you know.
I mean, I don't know if my dad's super, if he's not expressing himself fully. My mom, me and my mom, we talked for like 15 minutes, about it. And she would ask, but I think her thing is because she's super religious was that as long as you still believe in God, I think that was
Mm.
her. That's where the understanding probably came from. She's like, well, my son still believes in God. I think for her, if I was like, I don't believe in God, that might have hurt her. Probably that would have hurt her. Do you know what I mean? My
Yeah.
dad just kind of really didn't discuss it, so I don't really know what he's truly. He might be feeling more things, and he's not discussing it with me. So I don't know if it's a level of
Probably.
chill. Yeah, I don't know
Probably.
if it's a level of chill. Like, what are
No,
you
I
gonna
can
do? You gonna
no, I can
disown your
relate
son?
to no, I can relate to that. Like my dad's also not very expressive. He expresses himself like in random moments, you know, just like
Yeah,
maybe if it's like watching the news or like something funny something he thinks is funny, he just wants to share it just like randomly. And then you won't hear from him for the next 3, 6 months. I don't know. It's like I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay, cool. Everyone in the family likes to, maybe share their thoughts or like their whatever their impulsive reactions in the house, and he'll just be there, weathering through the storm. It's just like everything's just like passing around him. The clouds are dark, the sunshine is out. Doesn't matter. It's just like, yeah, we move on, keep going. It's just
I
like,
think every Arab dad in the past life was like, how you watch Game of Thrones, and that warrior that doesn't talk, doesn't express his emotions, and then goes
yeah.
across the lands. That's who I feel every Arab dad is emotionally. Just doesn't, hey, Jon Snow, do you feel anything inside? No, no, I just need to stop them from killing us. Just like that. So
Maybe
my
that's,
dad's getting. Go ahead.
yes. I was gonna say, like, that's one factor, and I think another factor is the mom plays a role. Like, if she's a
Yes.
very chatty person, the dad would just be like, okay, I don't. خلاص.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like my mom talks a lot, like holy shit, and I think my dad just eventually learned how to just be like, okay, fuck this, I'm just gonna keep going on.
Yeah, that's how I feel my dad is too. I was like, oh man, he's not saying anything. He doesn't say anything for like hours, and then you catch him in that pocket by himself downstairs, and it's just you and him, and it's 20 minutes. I'm like, this is from like 1994. What the fuck is like? It's old receipts almost. But yeah,
Yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
like this, like now, I think this is the first time in my life, in my 27 years of life, that I'm actually sitting with my dad alone in a house, and it's gonna be for like 2 months. So
Like right
um,
now.
I, I, yeah. Like in the past, it was just me, my mom, my sisters, and then because my dad had to like work in another country, so it was just like this. There wasn't that connection. Now that I'm here, I'm just like, holy shit, I don't know what to expect, to be honest.
It's you and him. It's like a horror film. This is like an Arabic horror film.
That is a plot
Bro,
of a horror
sometimes
movie.
it's too quiet, It's like no one is saying anything. Everyone's just like
Yeah,
doing their own thing. I'm I'm not gonna lie, I'm loving it, but because like I'm enjoying the peace, but sometimes it's like, is it supposed to be that peaceful? I mean, we're almost World War III right now. It's like, and in the house,
that's what I mean.
there's just nothing.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, yeah. I think this is the time to talk, Dad. Like, I think that's you got to go in the kitchen and be like, "Hey, Dad, this is World War III. We got to map something out."
I mean, yeah, that's like the main thing he's watching nowadays, and he calls it a series. Like I'm like, Dad, what are you doing right now? I was like, I'm watching a movie, man. I'm like, what movie? He's like, Iran versus Israel. Like,
The news is too
I
much
My
asked him,
news
I was
dad
like,
today.
does.
which episode are you on? He's like, episode 4. The annihilation of the mountains. I don't know, some shit like that.
My
No,
dad just watches CNN and just yells at the TV. I mean, since we were kids, but yeah, if you go, he lives with my sister, and he'll just be yelling at like Trump at the TV. It's just he's this fucking guy, man. Look at this guy, huh?
it's
Piece of
like
shit.
sports, honestly.
It's psychotic. You're like, why? He goes, this fucking guy, man.
I want to ask you while we can about this movie. Sometimes I think about dying. Fantastic film.
Bro, that's
Um,
actually very, very sweet. I did not think. That threw me for a loop that you had this. That's wow, wow.
it's a great film.
I appreciate it. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Um, yes, me and my girlfriend watched it. We really loved it. It's so sweet, and me and Saeed watched it, and yeah, it was just such a special movie. Honestly, it makes like you never see like that depicted in a film. Like I don't know if it's depression or autism or what it is or introversion. Um,
Yeah, they don't necessarily like explain, like they don't detail it, but I think it's, I didn't, obviously I played another character, but I felt
right.
like connected to her character a lot. Like if I read the
Mm.
script like 8 times, I was like, oh yeah, there's a lot of times, where you just don't want to, you're not necessarily sad or anything. You're not necessarily like, I hate people, but there's a lot of times where you're like, I don't know how to get in with this group. or I choose not to get in with this group, and I do like to be alone. And I think you don't really spotlight that at all, because it looked into society that you have to make friends, and if you're not making friends, and if you're alone, there's all this like negative traits put on that. And I think it was kind of like, I don't know, as being a part of the film to tell that story, it was kind of cool seeing how this character eventually had a connection with somebody or did something. We always expect these big scenarios or these big storylines or these twists. It was just more of like human connection at that. I think that's what it was, like that focused spotlight on a certain human connection that you have with somebody.
It was incredibly touching, and I wanted to ask more about like how did you get on this project, and then how much of this character is you, the character you play?
I think I mean, how I got on it was the director and the producer had saw Ramy, and the director had reached out, and she was like, she wrote me a letter actually in the email saying, very lovely things, and she was wondering if I would want to explore this character and building this character, Robert. And I think that's where it started. So I met with her on Zoom, and we discussed a couple times on Zoom, and then I met her in person, and then we talked over the phone and through text, and building and asking questions, and for like the months leading up to filming, I just got a great understanding of like what she wanted and who this character was, and you build like his past life, so that when you get there, for me, that's what I was doing. I was building his past life and what he did, and like if he was married, if he was divorced, and all this stuff, what type of music he listened to, so that when I got there, and I could the world was kind of built. But it was like a process that me and her, and I had acting help. I had acting coaches, so it was like a collaborative effort.
What were those conversations like you had, those first conversations? Was it like talking about the character or about the movie, or what was it?
I think it was about it was about a lot, not just about the character, but it was about a lot of it was, about, I mean, the music, and like I'd ask questions. I was like, what's the, I obviously I had the script, but like I could ask her questions because I had that access. I'm like, oh, what is he maybe trying to mean over here? What direction should I go over here? But it was such a collaborative. She was so helpful, Rachel Lambert, the director, and such guidance that like I felt I always had somebody in my corner. So I feel like I felt I could ask anything.
That's amazing because your character is so 3D, right? It's not like one note surface level. That's what I love about you and Daisy, both of you guys in the movie. It's so like it's real, and it just helps. I see myself a little bit in your character,
Yeah.
and some of the mistakes, and every time I think I might be overbearing with my girlfriend or something, I think back to your character and how overbearing your character is in that movie, and it's just patterns, just like people and how they are, and yeah, great flick. How does this connect to your character in Ramy though? Because your character in Ramy is the complete opposite of this character, right?
I
Ramy's a lot
mean,
more anxious. This guy's a confident guy.
well, I mean, I thought she brought up that character on Ramy. I think the care that he had for or his friends. I think that was some stuff I drew from, not necessarily the anxiety, but his like, because I think she also, I think she had referenced that she felt like they hired me. Ramy hired me as like a person, like I wasn't acting or something like that. She had made mention of that. But then she's like, "Oh, I watched your stand up." But yeah, it was like, I think with this one, I also am not that confident in an office. I don't think I'd be that. I wouldn't be that confident in an office. So that was fun being able to be like, "Oh, I wouldn't do this in my normal life." So I want to play this. But yeah, that was I didn't. He wasn't anxious, so I didn't draw from that. So there was the character in the movie. There was a stuff that I wouldn't do in real life myself at all. I would be too scared to. I wouldn't talk to a girl in an office at all like that. I wouldn't be trying to pick up anyone.
Uh,
How did it feel like
what was
hitting
the
on the Daisy Ridley?
Nervous. It was nervous.
Yeah.
It took like multiple months to build up, like where I was like, you just can't be super nervous, but I was still nervous. But then we were on set together, all of us, and we hung out. You know what I mean? In between takes, we're all chilling in the room, like in a large group of us. So we just kind of all became friends. And then the more days went by, the more comfort you found. And she's super cool and super comforting and super chill, funny. So that allowed it all to be super playful. And you weren't like, you felt you were with your homies. You know, that's a good feeling.
Yeah, like it provides like a comfortable vibe for when you're actually acting in those
Yeah,
situations, because it's obviously you're acting as, I mean, she's acting like a bit anxious, introverted person. You are more of an outgoing, although there's some signs of like a bit of anxiousness, but more of like willing to go through it and express, that you want to interact with people, and you need to have like a comfortable vibe to be able to do that, because it
yeah,
can end up very weird, I guess. Is that?
yeah. It was interesting. It was because I would feel more like in between takes and as it went like I was also super nervous and like I had imposter syndrome, so I was like battling that because I wanted to do a good job. So
Mm,
but like off camera, we got to also we got to play with certain scenes as well, and we were talking. I think a lot of that connection we built off camera was showed on camera,
oh wow.
like the office stuff. We just got all really cool with each other, and then from that we were able, when it went to camera, we were able to be playful.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I think that was a thing that the connection we had off camera, I think really super helped on camera. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
Because it was like a lot of
yeah.
the times I'm like, oh, I'm just talking to Parvish, I like, or Jeb.
Hmm.
I'm just talking to these people
Hmm.
like I would talk to them when they go
Hmm.
cut.
Yeah.
So it was not like, do you know what I mean, in character, but I was still like, it was super, and they're really, really funny and talented. It was such an amazing cast as well. Like
Hmm.
You
I'm
indirectly
still
became a method actor, or is that
me.
right?
No,
Yeah.
no. Imagine.
I just walked around.
Yeah.
Yeah, walking into offices. Hey,
Here's your
I've never had a
spreadsheet.
job before.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
mean, I'll tell you, second season Ramy, we shot in a hospital, and I
Mm.
went to the wrong floor one day with the uniform, and I was petrified. I was like, I got to get out of this. I was like, I got to get off this floor because we were shooting, I think, in a real hospital, but we had the floor where no one was there. And then I
Mm.
I don't know what happened. I don't know why I was there, and I was like, I got to get out of here. I'm like, this is. It gave me immediate anxiety knowing that I had this uniform on.
You went
I
into a
was like,
random
no.
patient's room, picked up their board, then you're just like, oh wait, this seems legit. Holy shit.
And I know nothing, obviously, about being a doctor. So I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Do you ever think of like trying this in real life, where you just pretend to be someone else and then try to convince people to do it, like to believe you?
No, I think I'm too like I have too much guilt and I think too much. I get too much in my head. I can't do that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like I've
Yeah.
tried. I like, you mean like pranking almost. I've tried some of that. I used to work on a show called MTV Live in Canada, and sometimes the sketches were like prank wise. Actually, one
Yeah.
sketch, yeah, a lot, and or like streeters, and I felt uncomfortable sometimes. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I want to put this person through this. Halfway through, I'm like, do you know what I mean? So I'm not fully. Yeah, I might not be the right person for that sometimes.
No, I get you. I get you. It's like anti-Lebanese, if anything. You know, you're avoiding. I don't know if you've heard the term maniaque. It's like
Oh yeah, I know
you.
Manic. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
Maniac.
yeah,
I use that all the time. People don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. I go, he's a maniac. Yeah. I knew how to speak Arabic growing up, like as a kid. I don't know if this is a true
yeah.
story. I turned it into a joke. I don't know. But my parents sent me to kindergarten with, I didn't know any English. So the teacher would show me stuff and I would answer in Arabic. And I think she thought I was deaf and blind. Like she told my family. So I had to learn. So I had to unlearn, not unlearn, but I was learning
Mhm.
English. And I think just over time, I think I didn't do a good job of keeping up my Arabic, but I understand everything, but I just
Mhm.
didn't keep it up. So when I speak, it sounds choppy or it sounds like I'm searching for words sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I
Yeah.
would
yeah.
speak in partial Arabic and then I get stuck and I would add English. So it wasn't but I understand it.
It's a bilingual thing, maybe. Maybe let's put it that let's add it, let's chalk
Let's
it
put
to
it
that.
that way. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you're
yeah.
bilingual. It's fine. But
Because
to be honest,
my little brother learned how to speak Arabic, and I heard him argue with a guy on the phone for wings, like we call the wing play. And I'm like, dude, I didn't even know this was in you. He was like, yeah, cause sure, I'm and he was just, I'm like, what? We were all like, when the
وين
fuck did he learn
الجيجريني?
that? Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
But Dave, come on. I mean, I think we have to teach you Arabic. You, how are you gonna, one day marry a nice Lebanese woman, like,
Yeah,
and get it set
of
up?
course,
But like, you need to be able to communicate with her so that she doesn't
I
like,
agree with you.
in Arabic, because we say "tekillak rasak," she'll eat your head,
Oh, I
and
know what
like,
that means. Trust me.
yeah, exactly.
If she goes, she says that to me, I go, okay, I'm in trouble. I go, yeah. But no, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one. I
Mm.
fully agree with you 100%.
So when are you getting married? And are we invited to the wedding? Obviously.
I mean, you guys are invited, but it might be a while, my friend. Yeah, especially now, dude. World War III, ice. There's really, really hard.
Yeah, flights out of Lebanon
A
are a
lot of
bit
things. There's a lot of
short-handed.
things. It's hard for dating, man. Ice raids. You know what I mean? Missile. You don't know what the fuck's happening. How can I
That's
commit
true.
when the world hasn't committed?
That's a
That's
good point.
true. Yeah, there you go. Let's chalk it up to, commitment issues to the politicians. Fuck it. If
Too
they
much
can't do it,
uncertainty.
we can do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Exactly.
stability. No stability.
Yeah. Once they get stable, I'll be stable.
I want to
Well, if
ask
you
you
had to
about
choose,
like
okay.
go side.
Now, I just wanted follow-up question. If you had to choose one ethnicity that you think that you would commit to, which one would be? Let's remove Lebanese out of the equation. Follow up after the Lebanese.
I don't know. I always used to. I mean, I'm predominantly dated like Canadian or American women for like most of my life. But I'm in. It's now that's not really. Yeah, I think finding if somebody I could relate to more. I think the
Mm,
more I get older, it's how do I find someone that can kind of relate a little bit to my upbringing and my culture. That is like a lot more important to me. I'm seeing it now when I'm like talking with people and stuff like that. That I hold that more dearly than my heart now. So that's
fair.
like changed within the last like 5 years. So
I think
I don't know if that
we
answered the
should.
question, but it was like, yeah.
It's fine. No, no, it's fine. We'll send you to Michigan and we'll sort you out. No problem.
Oh, bro, I know. I grew up on the other side, bro. I grew up in Windsor. It's on the other side. We're right near Michigan. I'm going back in July. Trust me. My sister married a guy from Detroit. Well, we're tapped in, bro.
There you go, bro. There you go.
Yeah.
Would we ever see like an Ahmed spinoff from Ramy? Your character is so interesting and it's so good.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wish there was more episodes. Like, there's not enough episodes. I mean, A24, if you're watching, I
No,
would
I wish.
watch it. I
No,
would
I
watch
wish.
it.
I mean, I'm trying to develop something in Canada now.
Hmm.
Wouldn't be that character, but like where I could just, it would be more. I could play a version of myself a little bit more. They're like the neuroses and like, you know what I mean? So there's like a version out there that we wrote where it's we're trying to develop. But yeah, man, if there is a spinoff, I'd be down 100%, bro. I love playing that character. I love doing scenes with everybody. You know, a lot of my scenes were with Mo, Steve, and Ramy, and they were so fun. The amount of riffing and the amount of like laughs that we shared, it was great. It was like, it was like work wise, it was one of the funnest times I had work wise and creatively. So
Definitely, like
Yeah.
those moments are some of the highlights of the show for me, in my perspective. Like when you guys are grouping up, doing adventures together. Um, yeah, it's so
oh yeah,
relatable. It's so fun, and I don't know. It's always a huge laugh, and you guys bounce off so well.
dude, the Atlantic City when he was looking at the VO that would had that was so funny too, man. That was so he was
Great
making me
business
laugh
idea.
so much when he was on the wall. Like I can't even explain because we couldn't see anything, and then we were just dying laughing. It's just so
Virtual
ridiculous.
Amra.
Yeah, just like virtual Amro was crazy.
Oh
We're
my
just
God,
like
man.
tell.
Like Ali, like after we watched that episode, Ali was for at least half an hour trying to convince me to do a business in that. He's like,
Well, there
Saeed,
is a business, no,
shit, see Ali? It's a good thing you
bro. A
guys
year later, you
actually.
could look it up after. A year later, I think, or a few years later, someone sent an article that they had a business. Look it up after. I'm pretty sure virtual Amro.
Bro,
I'm telling
Ali
you.
was like insisting, it's like, Saeed, you have to do this. It's such a good idea. I'm like, bro, let me focus on what I'm already doing, and then we'll come to this idea. Bro, thank
No,
God.
it's a great idea. It's a great idea. It's gone, but it's a great idea, dude.
It's gone, Ali. See? We're too
Dude, that
late.
was such a great idea. Because we were shooting that scene and they were shooting Steve and Ramy's scene. Remember when they were in the hotel, like in the same
Yeah,
day, night.
Mm-hmm.
So it was
yeah.
very funny because we were hearing about that scene, and that scene was so funny. It was just like I don't know, it was just like the two opposite things happening, but it was that whole thing. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's like it started just that whole crew, everyone from him to May, like everybody. It was Shadi, just Lath. It was just such a fun time working with everybody for those 3 years. So
Yeah, it's really good to watch.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Nadi.
Yeah, how did you end up working on that project?
I known Ramy for a while before that. Like I met him.
Mm.
We were at a comedy festival in New York when he was like 19. He was doing
Wow.
sketch. I was doing stand up, and we kept in touch. And then I moved to LA in like 2015, not officially. And then we reconnected there. And then we were like, yeah. And then he told me he got the show greenlit. And then he's like, "Do you want to audition?" And then I auditioned while I was away in China, and I sent in like a self tape. So I
Oh,
was
nice.
like, well, I was already friends with him.
Well, what are you doing in China though? Like, how the
Wait,
fuck
I
do you
went to
go
do
there?
stand up
In
to like
China.
expat. Yeah, you could do it like around China, like Beijing, Shanghai. So I was there for like a week and a half. It was pretty sick.
Okay,
It was in 2000 and fuck, I want to say 17 or 18.
okay. And this is like just a
Yeah.
random excursion for you, adventure
No,
time. Let's go.
I knew a comic named Will Sylvins. He was doing it, and then he had hooked it up. He's like, "Do you want to go to China?" And I was like, "Sure." He asked a group of us, and that's how it happened. He had the connection because he's done the run before,
Mm.
so
Mhm.
that's how I got in, and it was really fun. It was really
So
cool. So I was like, yeah.
what's the reception there? Like, I mean, we've never been to China, so we don't know anything about China. So,
Well, it's a
like,
lot of people that were living there teaching English, so
Mm.
the crowd that came were super into it. They wanted stand up. It was awesome.
yeah.
Like every show, I was like, Shanghai was this cool venue. It was like around 80 seats. The ceilings were low. It was like a comedy club, and it was sick. So it was like everybody was, and there was people that were, I think, trying to learn English through watching stand up. So I thought it was pleasurable the whole time. Like I don't think I didn't have a bad time out there at all. Like the
Yeah.
audience. I mean, seeing the audience was there for comedy, and they were giving it up.
No, that's actually a very cool way to learn English, like through comedy, because like obviously comedians are showing a part of the culture as well as it's
Yeah,
talking the language. So like you kind of learn, um, you can learn a few like also. maybe references or um, what's the word for the lingo. Let's call it the lingo. It's like you learn the lingo and
Yeah.
the references through the stand-up.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's. I mean, somebody told me I think they're here to try to. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a great experience. I'm glad I got to do it.
Do you think you'd ever like teach at some point? Maybe comedy
Like,
or something in general.
no, no, not me. I think it's like I think that's not for me in a sense. I think the best way you can learn is just doing it, repetition, and getting up there. I think the stage for me was the best way I learned how to do stand up because like I learned
Mm,
everything through that, and then just talking with comics, obviously, but a lot of it was helped through learning through the stage. I just personally don't want to teach or anything like that. Not a bad.
fair.
I mean, if we're talking stand up, I'll give you as much insight as I learned. But I mean,
Mhm.
your journey is going to be completely different than mine, And I want it
Yeah.
to be because I think that's the cool part about stand up and on the art is that every journey is completely different. So how you find your voice or how you find that thing is going to be completely. I could say one thing, but who am I to say? I don't know. You could do the
Yeah.
opposite and it works. Like, you know what I mean? I could give you my experience and what I've gone through, but that could be complete. That could may not work for you at all. So, and I'm not knocking anyone that teaches, to you do that, but I'm saying me personally, that's just not my vibe. That's not something I want to do, but
Hmm.
I can give you some of the things I've learned.
So,
Please.
th- yeah, go. Maybe like something that I would like to know about is what do you mean by find your voice? Like, is that your actual voice, or is it your style, or what?
It could be me. It could
What
be
works with it?
both. It could be those. Like, I mean, you've like, when you meet somebody or your friend, there's like a certain thing they do, like comedically, where how they construct their jokes or they find their
Hmm.
sense of humor. And I think finding that on stage for some comics helps, right? It's their voice. It's like how their perspective is on a
Hmm.
topic or a joke. And that
Mm,
takes but they still have to learn how to write a joke. That's you can have a persona in your voice, but you also have to know how to write a joke and know how to get that voice. It's like, hey, how does Dave or how is somebody explain their idea about soap, let's say? What do you think
Hmm.
about showering or something? It's going to be done in
Hmm.
your unique voice. I'm going
Hmm.
to
yeah.
have a different voice than yours. So I think
Hmm.
it's tapping into that basically, if you can.
I
Yeah,
never
most
enjoyed
definitely.
this. I never enjoyed the
Hmm.
structure of like writing a joke. It just like they tell you is like, oh, this punchline, structure, context, punchline. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but it feels like it's not. Maybe it's not me. I feel like it's just like too much structure just ruins the fun for it, the fun of it for me.
Well, I mean, that's that for me. That was the same thing, and I just changed it. I just learned the structure and then added my own voice to it. So that took me like 8 years. So I learned that. I remember reading a book on comedy called the Comedy
Mm,
Bible, and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to do the setup, boom, boom, boom." I was like, "How do I find my voice?" And that was through repetition. I was going on stage as much as I can, and then at some point, I was able to find it, but it took a while. But you don't have to necessarily stick to the structure. That was the cool part about it is like, I mean, at the time I didn't know. I was like, "Oh, can I not change it?" But I was like, "How do I add my own voice to this?" And that took like, it wasn't received well by comedian friends of mine or comedians. It wasn't always a pleasurable journey, but at the end of the day, I was able to find what I do, and that I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Hmm.
it's something that I noticed was when we were watching your stand up that we really enjoyed was um, the rant part. Like when you
Hmm.
go on a rant,
Yeah,
but you're obviously saying a joke as well, and you're doing it. It's like you're channeling your anger, kind of, but expressing it in a way where it's like you're doing it in a therapeutic way, but at the same time saying it in a funny way, you know, which
yeah,
came off as very natural. And that part I felt like I could relate to because most of the time I'm kind of like my dad. I'm just like chill. But then, there's always those like micro triggers in life where you're just like, it's like it takes just a little bit if I can drive you over the edge, and you just want to start whacking someone with a hammer on their head, you know.
Yeah,
It, and then you're just like, and then it's like because you built up everything, and just this like it's like this massive pile here, just like, mm, and then you're just like.
yeah.
Maybe it's like a stack of pancakes, and then you start throwing the pancakes at the people, and you're just like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, one by one. And it's like, okay, I'm done now.
I mean,
Stack of pancakes.
I know what you mean. I have my own version of pancakes, but I understand what you mean.
Sometimes they're
I understand.
flavored, obviously. You put some butter or like some maple syrup, and the maple syrup, obviously, because you're
Yeah, you're
Canadian.
just
No,
mad
but
at these people. I get you. I feel you, dog. I feel you. But I think it took for me. It took a lot of practice to get to, because before it was anger and there was no
yeah,
direction. I was just ranting. It took like getting on stage for as much time as I can during a week, all year around, to
mm,
harness that and eventually get to the point where it is digestible for myself and
yeah.
the audience. So
It has to
that
be
took time.
structured.
That was yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I had to learn.
structured
I had to
anger.
learn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
goddamn. It's like
there's no way. Yeah.
it's like you're controlling the dark side of the force, kind of like
hundred.
maybe Riley. Yeah,
It's
I
like
was just
how
gonna
do
say
I
maybe.
get this?
Go
Finish your
ahead, go
thoughts,
ahead.
Ramy.
No, just
You learned the force.
it's like how do I maintain? How do I structure this unhinged behavior?
Yeah, I mean,
Person.
I don't know if like Daisy Ridley gave you any advice on this, or it's like, yo, how do you control this shit? It's just like sometimes like you just wanna, and then
Yeah,
that kind of shit.
that's how she does.
Uh,
That's how she explains my comedy to her. So that's how.
I don't know
I don't
how
think she
she.
watches the comedy, though. I'll tell you that. I think she told me she's like, I'm gonna watch it after if I do. I don't want it to. But I think the fun part about it was just trying to control that anger, because at first I was just mad at everything, and then and nobody knew what was happening. My friends were like, "What comedy is this? You're just screaming at people." I was like, "Yeah, you're right. You're right. I actually am." So it took a long time for me personally. Not it could be different for everyone else. It took a long time to get to that what you saw to what you're watching now.
Hmm.
Do you feel like it also influenced you in real life, as in like how you talk to people, how you approach people, or your personality in any way?
Well, that's it. And well, yes and no. I mean, I'm not that heightened. Like the performance is heightened, right? But I mean that
Yeah,
the
of course.
rantiness and the like anger is there in real life,
Hmm.
100%. But it's like more contained because I don't want to get arrested. I don't want
Especially
somebody.
at this period of time. Yeah, especially
Yeah,
right
it's
now. It's
period of
like,
time. Like that guy's doing just fine.
Go
But I'll have
ahead.
these rants private. And like I'll have like I have these rants all the time. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm, mm.
Like where I like for a while I was just getting angry when people would tell me hope you're well, and I would tell my friends, I go, what does that mean? What do you mean hope you're well? I'm like, what is that? That's like,
We
what do
hope
you
you're
mean?
doing okay. You're healthy.
No, but it's stupid. It's just like, do you think I'm not doing well? That's how I take it. I take it that you don't think I'm doing well, and you go hope you're well. That's the only way. That's I don't understand why that's not the way people think it is. That's because if you're why are you asking me that? I get no, they just want to know if you're doing good. I go, then ask me how I'm doing. The fuck is hope you're well,
Then
especially if I don't know you that well.
I completely understand. Man, like when I lived in the UK for like 4 years, and over there they have this thing where it's like they have to be polite. That's the thing.
Yeah,
They're not as offensive as um, in the US. But I remember I did one show in front of like a whole white audience. Maybe the only diversity was my two friends. Sorry, one of them was my sister, and one of them was my friend. And I was like,
diversity is your family. Yeah,
they were the diversity hire, yes.
yeah.
And I was telling them at some point, I'm like, I concluded my stand up with that. I'm like, guys, it's fine. Like, I understand you guys have this thing where you have to be polite and whatnot, but I mean, we feel it, you know, we can feel you're tense and you're like holding it in and stuff. Just sometimes just let it go. It's okay. It's fine. We Arabs, we understand. It's sometimes you need to be racist. It's fine. Just be racist, just a little bit. You know, you don't have to do it too much. Just be
Yeah.
racist sometimes. I don't know how they took it. I hope some of them learned. You know, like it's fine to be racist. Don't do it too much. Obviously, it's like you don't want to go overboard with it. But come on, man. Like this is how we connect with people. We need to be a little, you know, it's like exaggeration. Fuck you. You suck. You're less
Yeah.
superior. I don't know. I don't know. You just
That's how you
something.
connect.
Yeah, man. And it's like too polite. Khalas. It's fuck you. I don't know. Yeah.
That was a good rant, Saeed. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were some of the highlights for sure from your Netflix special and then your other specials too. Like those rants when you started going on those. Oh my god, that was like so fire, and we were just like dying laughing. Honestly, love
Yeah.
Yeah,
seeing that.
from that's from that special to now, it's a lot more controlled, a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, just, but there's nothing. I used to always get mad if someone's like, "Oh, you just come off super angry." I'd always be like so annoyed. Now I'm like,
It's
yeah,
funny.
maybe I was, and that's fine. I mean, now I've evolved to like where it's a little bit more controlled and there's a little bit more of a smile. So it's like there is a rant, but it's like
Mhm.
you can see that I'm like, hey, like I'm not like fully like psychotic with it. So yeah, I do think that the progression is a lot better. So
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, you could always use the excuse as like, I am Arab. This is passion, not anger. You know?
I would say that all the time. I'd be like, it's passion. But
Exactly.
with some white people, they're like, no, it's still anger. They don't understand. They don't. It's
Hey,
still anger. And
you
I
tell
go,
them stand up's my therapy. You
yeah,
know,
that is.
gotta help myself feel better. Okay, let me just vent it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of paying
Um,
25 pounds an hour for to talk to a white person, you can get them to pay you to talk to a white person. I mean,
Yeah, that's it's
like,
I'm
goddamn.
down for that. So you need
Comedians are
me to,
fucking the system, man. They flipped it.
yeah,
They found a way around it. It's brilliant.
yeah.
Bro, this is like a better business plan than the شو اسمه, the virtual
Over
Umrah
So
thing.
you mean therapy
Bullshit.
through stand up? Just pay me $25 and I'll scream at you, and then you'll just get better. Oh yeah, I didn't see it that way. Thanks, man. You want some water? No, no. I'm just gonna sit here in this dark room. Just close the door on your way out. Yeah.
But
um,
yeah.
Dave, I wanted to ask you a question before we wrap up. I want to ask
Yeah.
you about an acting lesson you learned from this movie and an acting lesson you learned from Ramy.
Um, with Rami, I learned I multiple things, but I guess to he Rami just was always great in a sense that he could like if I felt nervous, he knew how to he knew how to help me get to certain scenes and certain things I had to do. He's a great director
Mm,
as well.
Hmm.
And I found like such, he'd come over and say a couple things, or he'd be like, hey, you should improvise here at the beginning, and then it could get you into your lines. And I think
mm,
it's just learning like to trust myself more what I learned from him is trusting myself and my voice and my capabilities. And I kind of learned that at sometimes as well with Rachel and the whole
mhm,
cast. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
I Daisy made it a lot comfort, and I didn't feel I felt very like safe, so that even though I was nervous, I could like I didn't feel completely like where I like scared or I couldn't do this. So I think it's those are some of the lessons I learned, and like besides the like um I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, I was always trying to prepare myself, you know what I'm saying, as much as I can before I got there. That was the thing that I was like constantly like, I have to prepare, I have to prepare.
mhm. And the preparation helped you out.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Mhm,
think it's like they were how they added the trusting yourself and your
mhm,
capabilities.
mhm. You were prepared, but then you learned to be confident with what you have
Yeah,
on
yeah.
your
Learn to
plate.
like, the
Mhm,
lines and now just have fun. You know what I
mhm.
mean? The lines are there, just kind of, have fun with it. So those are the things
Have
I
fun with
learned.
it. Perfect, Said.
Thank you guys for watching another episode of A to the Show. We've had Dave with us. Dave, is there any final words or comments or, love that you want to share?
I say that, we should try to be kinder to each other, man.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just be kinder to each other and just have a good fucking laugh, dude.
Let's do it.
There you go, guys. You heard it from the best. If you want to rant at white people, stay kind with. Oh, okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Sorry for interrupting, but yeah, are you gonna be like any other tour or stand up?
Oh yeah, I'm always going around. I'll be at the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival,
Nice.
July 16th to the 22nd. That's in Montreal. You just
Cool.
they have a website. You can get tickets from there, but you could always follow me on Instagram, Dave Merheje, and I'll post stuff there.
Cool. All right. Sorry. Continue now. Resume.
If you want to do any of your rants, please rant at the white people. They're the ones who will accept it and tolerate it. Everything else, just be nice and kind to everyone else. All right.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace out here. Bye. Thanks.